Hey guys, and you're very welcome back to Jungle Fever. All you need to know about I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here 2018. It kicked off last night. We've absolutely loads to talk about. But if you have any mates who do like I'm a Celebrity, get them to check out our podcast and whatever streaming services you use. Today, Darragh and myself are joined by Ken Sweeney, the showbiz editor of The Sun. Welcome.
How are you doing?
I'm good. And I know you're a fan of I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. We have a lot to talk about. You know what, I think this year was the first year that I've heard so many people going, we're sitting down, we're going to talk about it this year. What is it about it? Is it because there's nothing else on television, or?
You know what amazes me? It's just something that I know in the business is how much some people want to be famous, how much they really want it. So you see how desperate they are when you see I'm a Celebrity. You see these people getting into helicopters, they're afraid of heights, they're skydiving, they're screaming with terror, they're going to this awful place, they're eating bugs, you know, they're going into a camp. And you know, they're going into a camp in a jungle in the worst place to do the worst things. Could it be made any worse? Yes, it could. Because there are people around them who don't want to look after them, the other celebrities, but want to shaft them. So you make it even worse. And when I was watching Emily attack last night, diving out of that helicopter, screaming, I was thinking, oh my God, these people want fame. You know, they want money and they want profile and whatever else. And that just kind of amazes me.
Who was the one person you were looking at last night going, oh yeah, was it Emily that you liked?
Yeah, well, I thought it was funny, you know, they landed on the beach and they all kind of, obviously they know each other, or they're all part of the one scene. But I thought that, Harry Redknapp was, you know, came across very well. He kind of knew his, he knew what he was there for, and he was kind of offering advice. And even this thing about it, he thought that, like, actually that they stopped filming and then they give people sausage rolls and coffees. And he, just I loved that. And I loved, I did like as well, John Barrowman as well. You know, when they had that canoe challenge, and he didn't get into the canoe. He actually was swimming and pushing the canoe, and I thought that was good. So they're doing well. Anne Hegarty not so well. You know, so there's one of these people you kind of wonder, why would they possibly go on a show like this? Because she has this thing, you know, that she's got this quiz show, and she's, you know, like sort of like Anne Diamond did years ago. You know, she's the Baroness and she's on TV and she's got this quiz show, The Chase, and yet she comes in, and I mean, the woman nearly fainted looking at the camp. She arrived in it, even seeing the setting of the place, the woman is already getting cold feet. What chances has she got, like in week 2 or week 3?
Yeah, I think you're right. And you know what, I liked her at the start when she did arrive in. The scene with the canoe and they kept sinking. Oh, I felt that would have been me if I was an I'm a Celebrity, that the canoe would keep on sinking. I hope that keeps up though. I hope that, you know, running team of just them laughing constantly, whereas you do have your Harry Redknapp and all his team. Harry's so, you know, managerial, and he goes, this is what we do. Where the rest of them, they were just piss poor. Like, there was something about it. What about yourself, Darragh? Who was stood out for you?
I think John Barrowman. I think he's going to be. I think he's going to be in there for a long time. I think, you know, you either love me or hate him, that kind of thing. You know, the jazz hands, the kind of. I think he'll get on people's nerves, but also I think he'll be good. He's going to throw himself in there like that, paddling the boat behind and all this kind of thing. He's like just right in there. I think Nick Knowles will do as well. I think he's going to be good again in the task. You know, ordering people around, doing the paddling, that kind of thing. I thought Fleur East, I think she's going to be feisty enough as well, you know, in there for the long run. And as Ken said, I think Anne could struggle if that's what she's like in the first few minutes of arriving in camp. I don't think it looks good for her. Yeah, and then she was also excluded from the first challenge as well. You know?
Apparently, a lot of them this year have been excluded from certain challenges. Which is strange. Yeah, which is not good.
It is, and it's going to make you wonder. You know, it's a lot of the fun, because we're not talking about the elephant in the room here, which is, you know, there's no Ant. And I was just laughing last night, my wife, thinking that now people are going to know the difference between Ant and Dec, because now they've got Dec, right? So now they're going to know, because they haven't got Ant, and now they're going to know, oh, that's the one who didn't do the show. So a lot of that chemistry, a lot of the reasons that I used to tune into I'm a Celebrity really was Ant and Dec laughing at the celebrities and the challenges and stuff like that. And you're going to wonder, is there going to be that relationship between Holly Willoughby and Deck, and they're going to have that humour, is that because that's what I tuned in for, and that's what I laughed about. And people getting these, getting off doing some of these challenges. I'm not sure how that's going to work, but then I suppose people might actually get a bit. Actually resent the fact that other celebrities aren't having to do the hard stuff. That might make it interesting.
Which, I think would make it better. Can I just pick up one point there, John Barrowman? Lads, if there was anyone I could kick out now, it would be him. I despise him. Absolutely. He is everything I hate about a person in one And I've never ever badly tweeted about someone last night, and I deleted a couple of tweets that I was going to post. I just find him he looks like a little queen that's, remember Christian from EastEnders winning Big Brother and kind of everyone turned on him. I think this is what's going to happen with him. I think because Andy Peters, remember Andy Peters from
on the panel last night?
He was on Extra Camp last night, and he said he'd worked with him back in the day of Live and Kicking. And he didn't say as such that, he's a bit of a bitch, but he kind of led us up to believe, right, I'm only going so far. And he gave a couple of stories about what John did before. Now, I'd say there was more to the story than meets the eye, but maybe that's good. Maybe people will like...
turn. He definitely has him.
Who do you think's going to break first?
Maybe that'll be very enjoyable if John Barrowman turns out to, like 2 weeks in, and after all this dancing up and down the boat, and I noticed that in the early scene on the boat where he was asking the guy who was giving him drinks, would he dance with him or whatever, people on shows like that, they're tough kind of crew people, and they don't really like anyone from the cast kind of asking them to do more than you get on there, the crew are there to be the crew, the cast, the stars are there to be the stars, and he was kind of tempting, or he was trying to putting it out for that guy on the boat who was part of the crew to kind of dance with him or whatever. They're not going to like that, and I'm sure there'll be all sorts of mishaps and things happening to him as a result of that in there, because I think it'd be great fun if after 2 weeks he just goes bananas, or if after a week he goes bananas and you see the real side to him. And that's the terrible thing about these shows, you end up seeing the real side of people, because they forget, after a while, they forget the cameras are there and they start to go mental. And that's why we all tune in.
Kind of like Harry Redknapp talking about his wife knocking down his wife in the first couple of
what
scenes.
What a bizarre story that was. So what? I knocked over my wife. That's just so mad. I mean, you can't but not turn into the next episode.
But he just moved on. He was like, it's a long story. Like, I knocked my wife over.
What did you think about the entrances? I know a lot of people were saying this year it maybe was a bit limp, that only some of them did certain ones. I know James, Rita, John and Sarah, they did they climbed up the shaft thingy. Yeah. I loved it. I thought it was great, but they were saying the rest of them, they should have done something else rather than. But then again, do you think maybe that's because the others couldn't do it? Like, are they
you don't know the ins and outs,
to do stuff?
What do I have to do? I have to climb up a ladder off a cliff. I'm not going to do that.
I've always remembered back, and I'm old enough to remember, there was a big Saturday late breakfast show on Saturday nights on BBC, and it all ended when a contestant unfortunately lost his life in it, and that's all it takes. And I'm watching, I'm Celebrity going out of here. I'm Celebrity Get Me Out of Here last night TV, watching the helicopters and people jumping out of things. And there's always that danger, that something bad is going to happen, and that's it. Deck, your career is over. Your career is over. Well, in that show, and that show is over, and that whole production's over, and so there is always that dangerous kind of thing. So I suppose they have to be, aware of the medical conditions and what they're doing with people, because if you do so many things, silly things with helicopters or up on heights, eventually, it's like getting into a car and driving like every day for 3 hours. Eventually, statistics are going to catch up with you, so they have to play it safe.
Yeah, and they did. In fairness, they were telling us how many helicopters were used, what they did, and all that. So Jesus, imagine that did happen. Bloody hell. We're talking about the presenters, Deck. What did you make of Holly?
Oh,
I actually really like her. Without the show, I think between Celebrity Juice and This Morning, I think she's brilliant. I think she's kind of the whole package. She looks well, she comes across well, she can do the jokes, she can do the serious, and I think she slots in really nice. Again, I'm sure everyone has their opinion, that kind of thing. I think the two of them work really well together. Yes, he is trying to carry it a bit and doing the kind of crew jokes and that kind of thing, but I really like her. Yeah, I think she's gonna. I think the public will get behind her.
Yeah, she's very likeable, and that's what you want. If you want somebody going in to replace an existing house, you want them to be like, especially with someone a team like Ant and Dec, you know. So I'm thinking that the press have been quite nice to her this morning. I'm noticing, and also apparently in the promotional material, Dec was actually using his full name, Declan, and people, you know, media observers were thinking maybe he is kind of going for a whole career now outside of Ant and Dec. He's just going to be Declan and be out there and be himself without this kind of a team. I think, as I said, Holly's very likeable, and she's making some strides last night. When these celebrities start to come apart, like we hope Michael Barryman will, you know, we'll find out some more humour in it. But it was a good start. One or two of the gags I thought were Dec said things like, you know, I've never done this with a girl before. It's a bit lame, you know. They could have tried a bit harder.
See, and I felt maybe that because it's usually both of them, like the half and half the jokes, he carried all the jokes. And I think he doubly did it. And there's a point where I was like, all right, here we go. We've heard that joke before.
I think they might pick up on that though, and maybe give her a little few lines. Maybe you know, they'll have a look at that first show and realise, you know, he was throwing it all, and she was just, you know, kind of coming in at the end of stuff. You know what I mean?
She's the nation's favourite though, isn't she? The UK lover.
Still though, it's a hard double act to come in and imagine someone coming in. People compare them to Morecambe and Wise, Ant and Dec, and you imagine trying to go in a new person to pair up with one of those guys. So I think she has to kind of it's a fine line, because if she goes out too overboard, you know, people are going to kind of resent it, and they're going to miss Ant, and they're going to say, well, if the ratings, and I can tell you something now, I don't know what the ratings were, but if the ratings are going down, and you know, for this first show, or they go down this week, she'd be the one getting the blame, not Dec.
Yeah.
I did check them out. So 11.1 million people watched it last night, which is up a million from last year.
Oh, that's good.
The show beforehand, X Factor, 4.8 million watched it. So within those 3 or 4 minutes, it shot up.
Wow, that's great. And you know, normally the inheritance, the first show will help the second show. So the fact that so many people, you know, I'm X Factor. You know, Jesus, I've had enough of X Factor.
Yeah, I was the same, but I watched the X Factor last night, and I was bored halfway through. It's the same
It's just
stuff.
gone on, and you know, I've gone over there, and I've been in the audience. Oh my God, the amount of times they make you stand during up and down and standing ovations, and the stories, and even Robbie Williams hasn't turned up now 3 weeks in a row for these live shows. Even he's had enough of it.
Do you think that the likes of I'm a Celebrity will help the likes of X Factor come? So next Sunday night when you are watching it, would you flick it on a half an hour beforehand just to see?
I don't know. I think people have just had enough. I mean, the fact that these records don't really chart, that it used to go to #1 X Factor records, and now they don't. And you know, I was going to say the BAs, but the Christmas record used to be so special, and all those X Factor winners just hoovered it up for years and ruined that whole wonderful line of Christmas #1s. Now I think the X Factor, it's like with ITV. You know, if they have a big show like that, and even if it is getting, what did you say, 4 million, that's still 4 million. Yeah. So when it gets to 2 million and somebody else, somebody finds a new format that'll work, and I'm a Celebrity as a format is still working, and there's that bit as well. It's November, it's dark, you know, the nights are getting darker, it's getting colder. People like looking at Australia and the outback and helicopters and beaches and that type of thing.
And 2 hours last night.
Yeah.
It was a long show. And I stayed up to watch Extra Camp, and Joel Dommett was on it. So he was the presenter with Joe Swash and Scarlett Moffat. And I felt there was something about him. He kept using all these jokes, going, Jesus, I don't think you're allowed to say that. I can't do that. But it's like a bad breakfast show, I find, with all those extra shows. You know, like you throw a couple of celebrities together, see what it'll work. And it usually doesn't really work that well.
People, as I said, there's an inheritance there. There's a satellite channel connected up to the main channel, or you know, a side channel, and that's the reason for doing it. But it's mad. And Taken Down was on last night, you know, as well, which is a bit grim compared to Love and Hate. And I know it's great, and we're being educated about direct provision. So it was a break to watch I'm a Celebrity last night. And I'll probably, you know, that's the great thing. You can watch, you know, the Archie player. You can watch.
Well, I think they've lost me now. Do you know what? Because I was watching it for 2 weeks, and I think I'm a Celebrity's on now. I'm giving this my all.
Oh my God! Well, you know what? And there'd be somebody in the Archie press office saying exactly that if the ratings go down for Taken Down. They'll say that's because of. And you know, the ratings thing is always funny because you know Archie and TV3, or what was TV3. So you know, I think what was it? You know, years ago when ITV launched the soap Albion Market, the BBC put what was it, Dad's Army up against it, which killed it stone dead. And I think Red Rock was launched by TV3, I think that RTE put up something horrendous against it, like Operation Transformation, just something. And there's all that sort of stuff going on with viewers. But do you know what, Crossy? I think you're right. I think if it comes to direct provision or The Jungle and Harry Redknapp and telling stories about mowing down his wife, I think we'll be watching that.
There's only one winner.
And it's a sad thing, but I think we all want this light relief on a Sunday. I
yeah.
think we've gone past that love-hate. That. Oh, can't wait to watch it now because of Netflix and all this sort of stuff. I read some comments actually on Twitter from last night. I'm very, very happy to discover that I'm not the only one that weirdly fancies Nick Knowles and I'm a Celebrity. The amount of people that I was looking at last night thinking that they all fancy
That's
them.
a very important when you're booking people for a show that that's the fanciable factor.
Yeah. This is all leading up nicely to Theresa May being free for I'm a Celebrity on Sunday.
Special guest.
Harry Redknapp answering every question if he's in a press conference will never get old. I actually did notice that, he's very... I love that when he put his hand into the box.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas everyone else was like, he was
straight in there.
Get this, whatever. And
good to see.
This one was the best one of the night. Harry Redknapp not being allowed to drive because he ran over his wife is the best thing I've heard in ages. Because a lot of people would have known who he was. The younger people wouldn't know who Harry Redknapp was. And I'm sure they're all looking at this, what the hell happened and all that. And he's quite deep. I interviewed him a couple of weeks ago. He was in Dublin for an AIB thing. And he was very deep.
Yeah.
Very. So it'll be interesting to see what I was chatting to him for about a half an hour.
See, there's people here who've never heard of Harry Redknapp. He's on the show and suddenly his profile's going up and all these people. And it was like this. I did, it sounds like a prison sentence, but I did like 12 weeks of Dancing with the Stars out in Montrose. The Sunday nights and the winter and all that. And look at some of those people like Bernard O'Shea, who my mother and my wife had never heard of, and they saw him on that show and they like him and they probably go to his gigs. So this is what these celebrities are sitting in their agent's office and the agents are going, where can we move you? This is what they do. Where can we move your career onto now? How can we bring you to a wider audience? How can we get you your own show? And it's this kind of thing that does it. And of course, if it doesn't work out, we'll be going back to Panto where you were last year.
Now, Ken, every time we do this episode, we have a game where Ellen and Darragh, one of them have to do a trial. So we call it the Bush Banquet.
Okay.
Ellen did it last week. She ate Marmites with custard. Horrific. So today, Darragh, it's your turn. And I have it here. It's just come up my screen of what you have to eat. And it's absolutely and utterly disgusting. Are you ready?
Fire away.
So I've just been told, today's challenge, Darragh has been tasked with eating a bowl of silkworm porridge live on camera for breakfast. Silkworm porridge. No, thank you.
I think I thank Ian for this. As
Are you ready for it? Are we going to go with 15 seconds? Oh, we're going to go with 15 seconds, and I got the 15 seconds. You open up that there, show it to the camera what it is. This is vile. So what happens is, at the end of the whole series of our podcast, we're going to count up how many points they got. And in 15 seconds, I'm going to be probably like Holly Willoughby now, because I can't even look at this.
Honey?
Oh,
no,
Jesus.
peanut butter or bananas?
Mother of God. Right, we'll go 15 seconds, see how much you can get, right? 3, 2, 1, go. 1, 2. Oh my God, I can't even look at this. 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh my God.
Don't throw up on my suit.
Oh my God. 15, stop the clock. I can't even look at you, Darragh. I can't even look at you. That is disgusting.
Fair play.
This is
like a microcosm of I'm a Celebrity going on here.
I can't even look at that.
Ian's porridge skills are really, really bad.
Oh, yeah, because I watched it last night. I saw Holly Willoughby was afraid of them doing the challenges. I am like that. I have such a weak stomach when it comes to stuff like that. So we did it. It's 1-1. Ellen won, Darragh won. We're going to do another one on Wednesday. I don't know what it's going to be because that is violent. Ken, thank you so much for being part of Jungle Fever.
I'm not coming back. I'm going to do it like that. I'm not coming back.
If it's point, we'll all do that. But thank you very much for listening and watching to Jungle Fever. And if you want to tell your mates about it, do. And you can check us out in the podcast. Jungle Fever is our name. We're back again on Wednesday.